Hello and welcome back to the Big Lad Podcast. Today we are on episode 10. Can't believe we've already hit double figures. So thank you for all the support. Today I'm joined with Georgina.
Hi everyone.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Not too bad. We're starting to get closer to the gym's opening, so that's always good.
I know,
Yeah. So before we get talking, would you just like to introduce yourself and tell everyone what you do?
Sure, yeah. So I'm Georgina Creed. You can find me on Instagram, Georgina_Creed. I help people lose fat and create more active lifestyles. But something that I've always kind of said I'm different to other coaches by, okay, that sentence didn't make sense. But the reason why I say that I'm different to other coaches is because I don't just hand out a meal plan and a nutrition guide. I actually coach people through the changes that are necessary for a better lifestyle, and that when they can finish coaching with me, they know where to go. Because if people buy a plan that's like 4 weeks long or 6 weeks long, then at the end of it they end up being like, well, where do I go from here? And yes, great, they've lost fat, but they've never actually got any help and advice to how to maintain that change. So I'd like to actually coach people through it. And you get a lot of gurus as well. They know I'm an online coach, I help you do this and that, but they will just sell you a plan and maybe give you a message at the end of the plan saying, oh, do you want to buy another one? But instead I actually coach people through the changes and help them with that. So yeah, it's kind of what I do.
I do think that's important though, like you say, to actually teach people through it, because the way I kind of see it is that you should be able to teach someone to a point where they no longer need you.
Yeah,
Instead
exactly.
of constantly putting people on, like, say, 6-week plans and they stay with you forever. Obviously, that'd be great to constantly.
You know what's really funny actually? When I first tried to come up with a business name back in like 2017, I sent a message in the group chat. A girl's like, "Oh, what do you think to this?" And it was like the McG of fitness, or like Nanny McPhee.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to go with. And then I realised that everyone takes the mick, like taking the McPhee is like taking the mick out of something. So I was like, okay, that doesn't make sense then. But essentially, like my slag line was, when you need me, you won't want me, and when you want me, you won't need me. Whatever Nanny McPhee says, because it's that same thing. When someone doesn't feel like they need you, that's when they actually. Oh, I can't even remember what the tagline is, but yeah, that's what I was trying to go for when I first set up. I didn't, which is probably a good thing.
yeah, probably. But today our topic is all about fitting in health and fitness into your lifestyle. So I guess it kind of fits into what you've just said about what you do as a job, essentially. So I think we'll start off with how you actually fit fitness and dieting into your lifestyle now, personally.
Yeah, well, personally, I kind of go with the approach of just doing what I can each day and not overcomplicating it. Because I know when I was first sort of getting into fitness, I was reading on everything that you're supposed to do. It's like, oh, you're supposed to train glutes 3 times a week, push 4 times a week, and do this amount of accessories, this amount of, and it was just so overwhelming that you end up not doing any of it because you don't know what to do. So instead, I literally just take it day by day of how I feel, what time I've got available, and what I feel. Well, I've already said what I feel, but what I actually want to do. So my main goal is three sessions a week, but again, taking it day by day, I'll maybe do squats. If I then go to train the next day, I won't do squats again because it's like, oh, well, I did them yesterday. So I'll change it up like that and just kind of aim to do a full body exercise or workout 3 times a week. And then anything above that is bonus. And then again, just adding in any walks with the time that I have available. So I always try and aim for 10,000 steps, but always get it in because I don't always have an hour and a half to walk.
Yeah.
Most of the time, it will be an hour's walking and a 45-minute session. So it's like just 90 minutes really of activity a day, combination of walking and workouts, and that's what I just kind of aim for. So yeah, sometimes it will be workouts, sometimes it won't. And yeah, just keeping it simple.
So you say you do sort of 3 full body workouts a week. Are they like a structured one, or is it done based on just how you feel?
I kind of have a structure that I go to workout that I do in my head that's like a full body.
Yeah.
So I do like squats and then push pull on a Monday, and thrust push pull Wednesday, and deadlifts or a hinge movement Saturday with a push pull, and then anything in between is just like little accessory movements or adding in and swapping things about. So you still have that freedom, but there is some sort of structure there, because I think if you have too much freedom, that's when it's like, well, nothing gets done. But yeah, does that answer the question?
I guess so. What about the dieting side? How do you fit dieting into your lifestyle?
So that's a really weird one. I actually wanted to chat about that on this as well, where when I was younger, I was part of an athletics club, and I did all sports clubs, and I biked everywhere, ran everywhere, very active. So I didn't even have to pay attention to my diet. And then when I went to uni and kind of got into more about looking at the diet, I realised that I actually needed to know a little bit more about calories, because that was the essential part to what I was coaching. I never realised what foods had calories in, and I never realised how much foods weigh. And it all started off with when I used to I still love peanut butter, but I realised I don't love it as much as what I thought I did.
You found out how many calories were in it?
Well, no, I think I just thought, oh, it's what fitness people do. They love peanut butter.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you know what? It's not really that amazing.
That great, is it?
No.
I'm not big on it.
Ice cream or a Whisper Gold or something. So, yeah. So when I realised that 10 grams is like a thumb-sized piece of peanut butter, and I was thinking, I was literally having 2 tablespoons of peanut butter as a snack with an apple. Like all of that would be on an apple. I'd have so much. And when I actually got to know the weight of it and the calories of it, I was having a 400 calorie snack of peanut butter that I thought was only 10 grams. And I was like, Jesus. That's when I got into weighing foods and actually seeing what it is. And I didn't get obsessed with it, but I got very much into it. But I kind of thank myself now because I'm very good at guesstimating. So what I always say to clients as well is that the more hard work you put into it when you first start, the easier it will get as you go on. Because when you first start, your motivation's high, you're up for it, you want to see change. And if that's when you start logging calories and learning more about foods, then as you get a bit more like, oh, you know what, I'm kind of happy with my body shape, the more you can be like, okay, well, you can kind of estimate now with your calories, you can have a bit more freedom, because you built up all that knowledge in your head. So yeah, I don't track calories now. I actually find when I track them, I eat more or justify what I'm eating, or tell myself, oh well, I need to have 300 calories more because I'm trying to gain muscle, and then it's like, oh well, now I need to have 300 calories less. And I end up overcomplicating in my head. So basically, I don't track calories anymore, like through a fitness tracking app, but I do in my head. So I just estimate that most of my meals are about 600. So I know 3 meals, 6, 8, 12. That doesn't work. 3 meals, 6, 12, 18. I know that I've usually had about 1,800 calories, 3 meals a day. And then if I have a snack, it will probably take me to 2,200. That's like an ice cream kind of snack. Yeah. But throughout the day, I just have fruit as well. So I kind of, with diet, I've done a lot of work in the past to make it easier now. And just focus on getting my steps in and moving more, because I know that I can maintain my weight there. And you know what's really interesting, actually? Sorry, I'm really good at going on tangent. I was looking at my weekly average step count for the year, for the COVID year compared to the year before.
I've looked at this.
Yeah, and it kind of makes sense to why, like, I'm not fat, but I'm definitely bigger than what I used to be. But that's also because my training's changed as well, because I'm not doing half as much as what I used to.
Same. Yeah.
And I'm doing a lot more strength training than I am playing netball and biking about, where you literally get like a stick thing physique. So doing a lot more strength training and walking, bulking out a little bit. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah, step count. Step count gone down. My general activity has gone down. Yeah. But I've stayed the same with my eating. So like I still eat like I'm an athlete. So I think that's why I bulked up a little bit. And that's another reason why I don't want to go too much into counting the calories, trying to lose fat, trying to lean out a little bit, because it's like, well, actually, over a period of time as we come out of lockdown, I'll get more active again. Netball will start. I'll bike to and from the gym and then to netball because I bike everywhere because I just love it. And
yeah, I've noticed on your story the windy stories on your bike.
Eco-friendly, yeah, a bit of an eco-friendly geek. So I'd always go for a bike over a car. Until obviously one day I will need a car for something and can't live my life without a car. I don't know, maybe I could, but if I can bike, then I'll bike. But I'll always, even food shopping, I just put it all in a massive rucksack and bike home. Bit of a challenge on windy days.
Yeah, I can imagine. Going up hills as well, it's not ideal.
God, no. Yeah, there was this one hill in Liverpool on a windy day with it
must have been
about
just going up past the Adelphi.
No, it wasn't that one, but I did go up that one quite a lot because my flat was around there. It was on the other side of town, near that Lidl and then near the cemetery around there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not a massive hill, but it's a very gradual incline towards the top. And when you carry it must have been about 25 kilograms on my back worth of food. I was thinking, if I've got 6 tins of like Heinz beans and each one's 500 grams, that's already adding up.
Yeah,
so
quite quickly.
Everything else on top of that, I was like, yeah, this is heavy. Yeah, so that's how I kind of fit general fitness into my lifestyle as well, alongside with diet. But yeah, along with a few other tangents.
It is interesting though what you say about the steps, because I put a story up a couple of weeks back comparing, I think it was 2019 to 2020 to my like current 2021. And it dropped between 2019 and 2020 by nearly 2,000 steps a day average.
Yeah.
I was missing, like, if you work it out, it's something like 730,000 steps nearly, like down in a whole year, which when you think about it, it's a lot. And then I think like during January, obviously because the weather's crap and like you don't go out as much, I think I was another like 2,000 steps down this year. Like I've managed to get it back up recently because the weather's getting better, but it's like you say, like my general exercise has gone down because I used to play football 2 or 3 times a week. I'd walk around the office, so I've been working from home for the past year. I barely move out my desk all day, other than to go to the toilet or to go to the kitchen. So like I actually looked before, after I finished work, I was at 720 steps for the day. I was like, I need to go out for a walk. So I went out for it before.
Yeah, I was actually going to say, a lot of people think that because I walk about and do step counting all the time, they think that I have an active watch type thing. But it's like, I don't want to have to be tracking every single thing of my life. And it's like, yeah, I've probably done more steps, but the actual act of going out for an hour's walk, that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for general, like, obviously I do try and move about more. I actually, do you know when you said about being in the office and you're moving more an hour at home, I realised that because before I wasn't in an office, I was more like in a uni library or something. Whenever I'd fill my drink up, I'd walk to the furthest water fountain or go to the furthest toilet. As well. So even when we moved home, I was like, well, how can I do that? So like you just said, having to go to the furthest toilet away and trying to separate things so you can actually get up and move in between.
Just to get to my desk, I'd go up 3 flights of stairs, and I'd do that twice a day because I'd go down to the canteen for lunch. So I'm missing out on that. So I'm so much less active during the day, and I can feel it like in my hips and my glutes. They are so tight. It's ridiculous. I've been trying to stretch a bit more recently, but Jesus, it's not good sitting at a desk for 8 hours a day. Really not good.
It hurts my shoulders.
Oh yeah, like you'll see me. I keep doing this, and I'll keep going.
Yeah. I mean, even though I've got my keyboard like on the desk, I don't know why I'm performing this. Like you can see, I've got my keyboard on the desk, and then my laptop's up like eye height, so I shouldn't be rolling over. But I think it's just you just naturally do it, don't you?
For me, I'm on like the dining room table, so and because I'm quite tall, the dining room table's not quite high enough, and then I've currently got my laptop on a laptop stand underneath a book, and it's still not quite high enough. And then I've got like a monitor that's just here, but you can't see that, which is roughly about the right height. So it's just not ideal for me whatsoever. So I have to foam roll.
Have one of these sorry for anyone that's listening that can't see, but
I've requested one from work.
Yeah, really good.
So,
the laptop stand, if anyone's wondering what I'm holding up. But it's one that you can adjust so that if you sat at a desk, you can bend the legs so that it's like sat down, or you can then extend them so that you can actually stand up.
That's
and
what
put it
I'm
on top of the desk, so it's really high.
But because I've got 2 monitors, I need to get a massive one, which I've got to get signed off by work. So hopefully that'll happen soon because my back is in bits.
Are you going to be working from home after COVID then?
Probably most of the week, because so basically the office that I work in, like there's loads of different departments all for the same company, but we've been asked to move to a smaller part of the office because we don't need all the space. But there's like 50 people in our department and only going to be 13 desks, so it's going to be like a booking system. So you'll have to book if you want to go into the office. So obviously there's not going to be enough for me to go in daily, and to be quite honest, I can't be bothered driving to Manchester every day.
Anyway. That's fair enough. That's quite a nice approach actually to have, because at least you've got the option to go into an office and interact with people and stuff.
I'll probably go in like once or twice a week.
I like that. That's good.
But definitely, like you said, I'm noticing that I'm nowhere near as active, and I'm probably about 10 pounds heavier than I was before COVID. And that's, like you said, like I'm not eating anymore. I'm eating the same, maybe even a bit less. But drinking most weekends probably doesn't help things. But
I mean, that's a good point actually. I say I'm eating the same, but I don't know, because at uni I'd be going out every single week and I'd get food most weeks as well. And that obviously shoots the calories up. And I wasn't really, I'd often give out the advice of, eat less because you've had a big takeaway. But for me, because I was so active, it didn't make a difference. And because it was only like once a week or once every twice a week, it didn't make a difference. So I didn't need to take that advice on myself. So it wasn't like I was making it work. I was just kind of living life and being all right. But
well, that's it. Like I've never actually counted calories. I tried to once and I just got bored. So like when I was in college, I used to be like ridiculously active. So I'd walk to get the bus to college and then have to walk obviously around all my lessons all day. But then I'd finish college and I'd go rowing, and I used to train like 9 times a week. So, and I was rowing minimum like 15 to 20k a session. So nearly 200k a week of rowing. So I used to eat minimum 5,000 calories a day, and it wouldn't even touch the sides. It was ridiculous. So now
you do lots of competitions and stuff then?
Did a fair few races. Like I rode down at Henley and like Eton, where the Olympics and that was. It was.
Wow.
I even rode at the Queen's coronation or something like that.
No way.
Yeah, that was quite sick. But
would you ever get back into that, or was that a college thing?
So I started it in high school, towards the end of high school, and then basically when I started working, I had to kind of stop just because of workload and starting a new job and being here, there, and everywhere at the start of getting my job. And it takes up a lot of time. So when I was in college, I'd sort of get to training for 5 o'clock and I wouldn't be home till 8:30. And then obviously I need my tea and then get ready and go to bed. So if you put work on top of that, exams and everything, it is something I'd like to do, like maybe once or twice a week.
You did that rowing for charity, didn't you? Actually, I just remembered that.
Yeah, that was in memory of my granddad, because he used to actually row. So I did it on his rowing machine actually as well.
Yeah, no, I remember that. You did really well with it.
Thank you. Yeah, I am thinking about getting back on it. It's just hard to motivate myself at the moment with everything going on and that. But yeah, I'll get back into it. Definitely. Especially because it annoys me how many people can't row in the gym and they're just going to do themselves a load of damage.
Yeah.
So
I saw a good post the other day saying all this time we've had to master the press up, and we're still going to go into a big gym facility and still not know how to do a proper press up. And it's like the literal key body weight exercise that we all could have mastered, we probably still haven't mastered. So,
that's it.
Yeah.
Like I've put I put a post up a couple of weeks back actually about how to do your first press up, and I did another one with how to do your first pull up about a week ago. So hopefully some people watched it and they take it on board.
Yeah. But I mean, people might know how to do it, but actually being able to do it as well. Like, God, I just hate press ups, so because I get no enjoyment from lowering myself to the ground and going, now I've got to push away. And because I've always been a runner or cycling and playing netball, but you need to be strong for that. But I've never had strong arms. So to actually build it up, God, it's just, I just want to lay on the ground. And that's what most of the time I do. I realise that getting into strength training, you can do bench presses. And that's a lot more motivating to push the bar away from you so you don't kill yourself. Than just lie on the ground. So yeah, I'm a big one for bench. Well, I'm not a big bench presser, don't get me wrong, but I much prefer them to press ups. So.
Do you think that's more of like a girl thing though? Because I feel, especially these days, you see girls just posting leg workout after leg workout, and they may do like one little upper body session a week. And I think a lot of people as well just think, oh, I can't do press ups, so I'm not going to do them.
Yeah, I think that it does come from that, because not having any strength in your arms, like my arms used to be tweaked. I was a long distance runner, like I had no strength in my arms whatsoever, and having no strength to start off with, it's hard to build up from. To actually get that initial change. I think actually it's only been this last year in lockdown that I've actually gained some upper body strength, because I haven't been able to do all the leg exercises that I used to do. So I've had to do a lot more upper body work and be more consistent with it. So I've actually got stronger. I'm not sure that if we didn't have lockdown, I would be that much stronger or not. But yeah, with girls, I think it's that, you don't want to look like a man, don't want to be bulky. I totally understand that. Some people don't want stronger arms, but I've kind of got into the fact that actually when I tense, I want to be able to see like a tricep or something. I want to have a bit of stuff. But that's just because of the people that I surround myself with on social media and stuff like that. So it's a weird one for girls, but it's just whatever you want and whatever you fancy, really. Just stay active.
Well, I think no, like they're more than happy to go and do like 3-4 leg days a week, and the legs don't look manly. So why would doing a couple of upper body sessions a week do anything different? I think it's just pure out of this enjoyment and what you actually want to get out of it, I guess. So. To be honest though, I have my hats go off to the people who train legs 3 times a week, because I could not be dealing with DOMs, like doing DOMs throughout the week.
I want to say that it's mostly girls that do leg days, but it's not, because I've met girls that don't do that. But I don't know, I'm a very leg dominant person, but I think it's because, again, that's my strength. So it's like, I know that I can do all those squats, and I know I can do all this, and my legs don't really ache. But as soon as I can't do more than like 2 or 3 arm exercises in a session, because my arms are just dead after the first one. And it's like, with my legs, I can just keep going. But no,
like I can do like big leg sessions, and obviously you get the normal DOMs. Mine aren't, I don't get them too bad, but it's then when I go and try and play football, that's when I notice it. So like if I do legs too close to like a football session within like a day or two, like it's 100%. Like a no-go. So I actually have to skip, like when I work out my workout plan, I have to schedule. The first thing I try and put in is legs, and it's like, where are you going to go? Where you're not going to do the most damage to me playing football? And I'm actually half tempted to almost get rid of leg day and do some sort of dynamic session. I just need to formulate it.
Well, I think, like you just said, that you can't answer the own question of, if you're using your legs all the time in football and stuff, then obviously you're not going to get the strength gains, but actually using them, do you need to train them again? Like,
that's it. So I'm probably going to move towards more sort of jumping exercises and things that are going to help agility and speed more than actual power and strength.
I was just thinking as well, did you say leg day? So do you have like actual body split days?
So really? I've made a new split recently. So I've split it out to do back and shoulders, chest and shoulder accessories, an arm session, and a leg session. So basically, I get to hit biceps and triceps kind of twice a week through doing back and chest on other days. And I get to hit shoulders twice a week by having my big shoulder exercises with back and my shoulder exercises with chest, like the accessories. I've noticed it's helped quite a bit. I haven't been doing sort of big leg exercises since being at home. I haven't really squatted recently, mainly due to like a bit of a slight injury that I've got. But yeah, working through it. But yeah.
What injury is that? Have you got that?
What's that? Sorry.
What injury have you got?
So basically, you know, when we went back to things being open last summer, I went back playing football, and obviously because I haven't played football for a while, my manager for whatever reason decided to go straight into a shooting drill with like barely any warm up. And I seemed to just tweak something like down towards my like lower abs / groin area, and then it just doesn't. It seems to come and go. It's weird. So yeah, I've got to be a bit careful with it. Probably should get it checked out, but it's not helping with COVID and that. But yeah, I've been running a bit more recently, and it seems to be all right. So I've not been doing any leg exercises, so I've just been resting basically. But yeah, like I said, it keeps coming and going, so I think it's like a sort of inflammation issue. Hopefully, more than like a full-on strain or hernia.
God, no. I mean, when it comes to that kind of stuff, I don't know. I think people think that personal trainers should know everything, but I just hold my hand up and just say, I don't know when it comes to that stuff.
Well, it's not your job, is it? Like, you're not a physio at the end of the day.
Yeah. Obviously help with little niggles like all postural, and it's kind of like, oh, we'll do more pull exercises, that might help, and a bit of soft tissue work. But yeah, strange.
Yeah. So next little sort of topic, we're going to talk about going out for meals and nights out. How do you approach them in general?
With a nice handbag and some high heels. No, in terms of diet, I think how I approach them is very different to the advice that I'd give out to someone that is trying to lose fat. Because I think there's people get confused as to when we're dieting and when we're just trying to maintain weight. And that's what really upsets me when people are like, oh, diet starts on Monday. And it's like, are you actually on a diet, or are you just trying to maintain where you're at? Yeah. Because if you're on a diet, yes, you will need to account. But when I say on a diet as well, I mean like looking at your calories, trying to be in a calorie deficit. If you're trying to do that, then yes, you want to account for the fact that you will be having more calories on one day and work it into that. And I think you mentioned it before, but looking at your calories as if it's a bank account. So if you're going to get paid £10,000 a week, that's 10,000 calories, then work that into your budget so that you don't blow your budget and you don't come out that deficit and end up maintaining or even gaining. But for someone like me, at the minute, I'm not trying to lose any fat. And I know that having a high calorie day that's maybe 1,000 extra calories, that's not going to do anything. It's not going to be drastic. I don't have to start again with my diet. I don't have to do any drastic changes just to maintain my weight. Because, you know, there was a study actually at uni that we learned about, and it was like the participants were overfed by I think like 2,000 calories per day, and you'd expect them to gain 16 pounds of fat. But by the end of the 8 weeks that they consistently ate 2,000 above their maintenance, so that's like 4,000 calories a day, after 8 weeks, most of them only actually gained about 10 pounds, and some were even less than 10. Some were more, some were less, but average about 10. And it's because when we overeat, it doesn't always just get stored as fat. Some of it is actually used to digest the extra food that we eat. So we still need energy to digest that. So that's being taken out. Others, we have more energy to move about. So you might move around more. You might say, oh, let's walk home because I'm drunk instead of getting a taxi. I don't know, that's just a really bad
I've done that many a time.
Yeah, so if you're overeating, you've got more energy to do more things.
Yeah.
So you might do that and actually spend that energy. So you've not gone in that surplus. And then another thing is that the energy can be stored in your muscles rather than as fat. So it could be stored as glycogen and not fat. So that's easier to use, especially if you're trained. So you're not always going to gain fat when you overeat. And that's what I think knowing that makes me feel a lot more calmer about overeating. And I always try and want to get that point across in social media, but it's quite a long and technical topic that I always struggle with how to get the idea across that you can overeat and it'd be fine, but then also be like, I'm a fat loss coach. You can't overeat because that's going to blow your budget. So it's having those two separate things and raising them and being like, well, are you maintaining or are you in a calorie deficit? Because that's when you need to decide how you're going to approach this night out and what you're going to do. So yeah, how I approach it, I just go out, enjoy it. Most of the time I'll have a vodka diet coke or something like that, because I am aware that having other things are higher in calories and I don't want to make that my like average action. But if there's a pub crawl, I'll just have beers all the time, not worry about it.
Fair play. Like I put a post up today about being able to eat junk food still and lose weight.
Yeah.
Which obviously is possible, because as long as you're in a calorie deficit, then you're still going to lose weight.
Yeah.
And I think obviously if you are on a diet, like you said, looking to lose weight, then if you know that you're going out for a meal or that you've got a night out on the weekend, then you can literally compensate for it throughout the week by eating slightly less than your on plan calories.
Yeah.
And sort of
definitely.
bank them for the weekend. But on the other hand, like I said in that video, one bad day isn't going to ruin a diet. Just like one hot day doesn't make a summer.
No.
So I think, like, obviously it'll take longer to reach your goal, but for me, life is too short not to be enjoying yourself at the same time.
Yeah.
Instead of just having, like, I'd hate to be one of those people that were like going out for a meal thinking, oh, if I have this, I'm going to go well over my calories. If I've got to have a salad instead, when really you wanted the steak and chips or something, or the pizza or the burger.
Yeah, that's what I find so upsetting, is that the whole diet culture and having to do all that is taking away happiness from happy and celebratory events, where it's like you should just be present in that moment, enjoying the night out or the meal with your friends and family, which is going to be happening soon as places start up. The worst thing that could happen is people say, oh, I don't want to go over my calories, or oh, I'm going to have this rubbish salad instead of this. Like, I don't understand anyone that gets a salad when they go out. But I think that's because I have salads every day. So if I'm going out, I want someone else to cook a meal that I can't cook, which is usually something quite nice and tasty. So it's like, I'm not going to waste my day out for a salad. But again, I guess it depends on, because I had a client once that part of their lifestyle was to go out for business lunches and stuff. So having Tupperware or having your own lunches, that wasn't part of it. And it was like, well, yeah, we are going to have to go for the salads, and we are going to have to be picky about what you have at these restaurants, and even what restaurants you go to. But again, it's people need to take a step back and be like, what's suitable and applicable to me, rather than taking the advice of general stuff that's out of the magazine or what's on the TV or something. Sorry, I just remembered as well. God, I don't know why I'm such like a rambler, but you know what you said earlier about one bad action isn't going to ruin the rest of it. I thought, you know, that toothpaste analogy that I'm always bringing up.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen it or not. But I was thinking the other day as well, that when we brush our teeth, we do it every day, morning and night, consistently. Some days we'll skip it and we'll go, oh, I'm too tired, I can't bother to do it. That doesn't mean that the next day we go, oh God, I missed brushing my teeth on Friday night, so I'll start again on Monday. It's like, no, you just get up and you do it regardless. And it's like the toothbrush and the toothpaste you use is going to be suited to your taste and preference, which is a bit like your diet and your exercise. And then it's like, it doesn't matter whether you miss one, because it's just about being consistent with it. And there's another point with it as well. I was writing the analogy down. I was like, oh, it makes so much sense. What was the other thing? Oh, I can't remember it now, but there's another point. It'll come to me later on.
Okay.
But another point, just to be like, well, just because you missed one session or one toothbrushing session doesn't mean that you have to wait a week to start again, or that you can't do it the next day. So yeah, or that you'll have bad teeth.
Well, even like going into the gym and missing one session in a week, it's not going to completely ruin your training plan if you.
No.
So,
exactly.
like going back to it, saying like about celebratory events and stuff like that, I think you've just got to be in the moment and enjoy it. Like, just take the hit. Just like take the hit. Try as much as you can throughout the week to sort of compensate for it, and maybe cut back a little bit so you bank a little bit so you don't go quite far as over.
Yeah. If fat loss is your goal,
yeah, enjoy it. Because without getting too deep, like life's short.
No, it is. Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't feel like there's enough deeper conversation about it, and people are like, oh, let's lose fat, and it's like, well, that's great, but why? And it's like, because I need to lose fat. It's like, but why? Like, you want to be happier, you want to be able to do more things. So it's like, well, there's no end point to it, so you may as well enjoy the process. Like that. You don't want to strip away everything, because how happy you are now isn't really going to change in 3 months' time when you've lost the weight. It depends how you talk to yourself and how you interact and behave in different environments. So if you can't do that now, you wouldn't be able to do it in 3 months either. So it's that continual growth and development that people usually don't talk about.
Well, that's the thing for me as well, is like a lot of people cut all the stuff that they enjoy out of the diet to lose the fat, and then they get these mad cravings that as soon as they hit that target weight that they had in their head, it's like, right, I'm going to go out, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and they just sort of almost relapse. Go like pile it back on. Whereas I think the best approach to it is sort of, I don't know, sort of keeping some of those stuff in to the diet, but obviously you've got to account for them. So say if you do like I don't know, maybe on a Friday when you're in the office, you might get pizza or a Mackey's on a Friday. Just include that into your diet. You don't have to say no to it.
Yeah.
You can still be a part of that group. You don't have to sit there with like your salad, like you say, and just be a little weirdo loner whilst everyone's having slices of pizza.
Yeah. But it's weird, because even then I've had an argument in my head listening to you of, oh no, you should do this, you should do that. But it's like, if the salad is going to get you to the goal and you realise that you're not actually that bothered about pizza, then sure, have the salad. You can still enjoy being with your friends. You don't have to have the pizza. But then there's that other side of, if you don't have the pizza and you can't figure out how to make foods and environments that you love to have part of your life, then that's what you actually need to work on, because that's where you're going wrong, where when you finish a diet, you're going back to your old life and you're just going to gain the weight again. So 2 different approaches. One is it's like, if you're extremely overweight, you will have to go to extremes, like dieting circumstances, where it's like, right, first things first, we are going to remove this food because you need to lose weight. Then we can, as a coach and a client, introduce that food in a way that's balanced. But I think so many people go into it without that understanding that there are different stages to it that you can be coached through. Go, right, I'm going to cut out the rest of all this food, and then I say, well, why are you cutting it out? Because it's like, oh, because it's bad. And I'm like, yeah, but do you not want to figure out how you can include that in a good and helpful way? And it's like, well, no, because it's bad. It's like, well, it's not. So it's annoying that people think that they're going to be healthier, happier, and fitter by removing all of the happiness from food and stuff.
It's like what I was saying, that you just get the cravings, and then eventually someone breaks and they just go in a mad binge. And then they think, oh, I've ruined it now, might as well carry on, give us the Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah.
And just ruin it. Whereas like one off day isn't going, like, it's probably going to add an extra day onto when you were going to hit your target.
Yeah.
So
but like we said about that study where people still overeat and might not gain weight, so sometimes it doesn't make a difference. But again, it's just monitoring what does and doesn't and figuring it out. So
yeah, it's like, say, like you used to have a pizza on a Friday. Instead of eating a whole pizza, you eat half a pizza. You've still got the pizza in your diet if that's what you enjoy.
Yeah.
You're just eating less of it.
Have you heard that not quote or a saying, I don't really know what to call it, but it's like, after one bite, what do the rest of the bites give you? Have you heard of that one before?
I don't think so.
No. So it's like when you have one biscuit, the first bite that you always have is going to give you the most enjoyment.
Yeah.
And then it's like, after that, first bite of whole biscuit, what do the rest of them actually give you? So I always ask this to clients that are really struggling with overeating, and do it with myself as well, because I'm a biscuit lover, ice cream lover, everything lover. So it's just having that conversation of, right, so I've had one because I fancied it. What is one more going to give me that the first one didn't?
Yeah.
And it's not a question of, it won't give me anything, I'm not going to have it. It's a question of, I'm not sure, but I do fancy another one, so I'm going to have one, see how I feel, and just have that conversation with yourself, and just learn why you're actually having the food, giving yourself permission to eat the food, no matter how you feel or think about it. Because like you say, having half a pizza, it's like, well, yeah, you've had the first slice. What is one more going to give you that the first one didn't? Are you still hungry? Are you just bored? Are you craving the food? Are you, I don't know. It's just, have that conversation.
It's going to be funny in like a week's time when we've got loads of listeners with a biscuit tin full of biscuits with one bite out of it.
Just staring at it like, I had one.
I'll put that back.
No, but that's never going to happen. But it's just that conversation to have and kind of practice with. And I don't know, I still do it now. Not obsessively, but sometimes if I catch myself, I'm like, why am I eating so much? I'm like, right, what's actually going on here? And it's just a good little conversation to have.
So going back to your training, like, I think you're a bit different to most people that I've spoke to, in the fact that you sort of work out as and when and how you feel, which is kind of similar to what I was doing before I started. Like, with my plan, I've always included like bench squat, a few deadlifts, and barbell rows, and then sort of it's based on how I feel then. So if I'm a bit tired, I'll go for some more sort of lighter accessory work, and if I'm feeling good, then I'll carry on going with heavy lifts. But do you think it's always important to have a goal with your training? Or...
actually, but probably just not as a specific goal as some people might think. So like, my goal with training is just to be strong in general and just to be fit and active, because I understand and I've learned all about how being stronger and active can give you a better physical and mental health. So it's like, well, I want to live on this planet for as long as I can. I want to have the best quality of life. I want to travel, and I want to go to the top of the mountains, and I want to ski, and I want to swim in oceans, and I want to do all that stuff. And it's like, well, I can't do that if I'm not taking care of myself. And also, if I'm not taking care of myself, my business isn't going to grow. And if my business doesn't grow, I'm not going to have the money to travel and do everything that I want. So my goal isn't to be able to squat 100 kilograms or do 6 push-ups or whatever. Like, they're mini goals. But my overall goal is just to stay fit and active so that I can just live life, really. So that's my goal, which is why I have that approach of just train your full body 3 times a week, because all the science says is that, well, not all the science, but the general gist of what the science says is train a muscle group 2 to 3 times a week. Make sure you sleep, make sure you get your protein in, and stay active on the days in between. So that's literally what I do. I do full body 3 times a week, obviously sleep, protein, and just get steps in or any extra if I can and when I can. So yeah, that is very, very simple.
So when you actually go into the gym to do your full body workouts, are you always seeking that sort of progressive overload, or do you go in and think, right, I'm a bit tired today, I'll pull back on this weight, or I can do a bit more on the next set? Or are you like logging the weights like really specifically?
You know, I've never got into progressive overload. I've got stronger, I've got fitter, I know that, but I've never, like you say, logged the weights. I'm really bad for it because I think I always tell myself like, oh, I only train 2 or 3 times a week, so what's the point? And I'm like, actually, you still would gain from that. But I think it's that kind of expectation that you have in your head where it's like, oh, if I work out every day, then obviously it's worth tracking everything because I'm working out every day. But then I don't know. I know that that's not what you need to do, but it's just, I don't know. I think if I started tracking it, trying to progress and started overcomplicating it, I'll just put myself off of it and end up thinking that I'm doing worse than what I actually am. And it's like, well, actually, I just want to do 3 workouts a week. Yeah. And if one day after a set, I'm like, you know what, that was quite easy, then you just take it up and you'll just naturally progress. You don't have to track it all and do everything so specifically to progress because you're just so consistent with it, which I am because I just aim for the minimal, which helps me to be consistent. Then over a period of time, I'm just going to progress. So I don't know. Yeah. Part of me is like, programming is not really that important. You just need to be consistent, keep going at it. Then the other part is like, well, if people need that structure and routine, then it's definitely beneficial.
I do think some people get very hung up on the weights that they're lifting, and then when they don't see a little bit of progression, they get a bit upset about it. And
yeah,
I think that's where the line sort of is for me, where like I would never want to be that hung up on a figure. Like I'm never going to probably lift the biggest weights in the gym. It's not really my goal. I'm not really there for that. I just go for the enjoyment of it.
Yeah,
just working out and being there and sort of a stress relief more than anything. You just put your headphones in and just crack on and then leave the gym a happier person.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think we are moving away from that whole like gym bro kind of era where it's kind of like just go in, get something done for your mental and physical health and then leave. Don't overthink it too much.
Well, for me, it's like I'm not a power lifter, so I don't really need to get hung up on numbers. I'm not a bodybuilder because I can't be bothered with the whole diet and getting moody and all the rest of it that goes with it. And to be honest, I don't think I'd look very good in a spray tan either. Budgie smugglers. So I'm not about that. It's just going there for enjoyment, and then you get people like coming up to you going, "Oh, what do you do? What do you lift?" And it's like probably not as much as you could think.
I've actually just bought a hat. You know, Sonny Webster.
Yeah.
Have you seen his clothing line?
Oh, the
Big Friday supplies.
Big Friday supplies. Yeah.
Big Friday supplies. Just bought a hat. I don't even wear caps. I don't see them at all. But I was like, you know what? I'm buying this cap because it just stays on it. No one cares with a big line through it, and then in small print, how much you lift. It's like that is the hat I need. Like that, I think I'm just going to become a hat person just so I can wear that hat because it's just, yeah, I like it.
Fair play. Like, yeah, hats don't suit me either. I've got a massive head. So they don't look good. But yeah, like I was saying, like you go in the gym and you see people like looking at you and what you're lifting, and it's just like, why are you bothered? Like, no one gets a medal for the heaviest weight lifted in the gym. And then
and even then, sorry that I just interrupted you, but even then, if someone's lifting lighter, you can't judge them because it could be their rest day, or they could be coming back from injury, or
exactly.
I don't know, they could have just done all the big lifts, and that's an accessory. So I don't know, just everyone needs to stop judging everything.
You should have seen it when a couple of years ago when I tore my ACL and I was getting back into the gym, and I was told that I could go back and do like light leg exercises. And I was literally on the leg extension doing like the first brick, on the machine. And I was getting so many looks of people going like, well, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And obviously, like, I hadn't done anything on my leg for, I think it was about 6 weeks or something. And I was taking it dead easy, just doing like nice and slow, not heavy, high reps. And it was obviously like hurting me a little bit because obviously I'd torn my ACL.
Yeah.
And people were just like walking past, like looking at me like, what are you doing? You absolute freak. But yeah.
I think more people need to have that conversation in their head. Like, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know why they're doing it, but that's up to them. And I need to stop judging them because you literally have no idea. I think it'd be healthier for everyone to go through all the different scenarios that could have happened and try and persuade them, like, oh, maybe he's doing it because of this, maybe he's doing it because of that, rather than just being like, what are you doing?
I think I actually put a post up about it at the time because
really?
not much bothers me. Like, it didn't bother me. People were looking. I find it quite funny because obviously they're thinking, what the hell are you doing? Only like curling like 7 kilos. Like when a couple of weeks before they would have seen me doing like most of the stack. It's like funny. But I've got one sort of final topic. Well, that I'm sure we'll go on to something else like we have done.
I know. I keep forgetting that we've actually been on topics. I'm like, how did we even get onto that? Yeah.
So, what's your opinion on the whole sort of bulking and cutting for winter and summer? Because you obviously see it every year. There's the same people that do it, even though they don't compete like ever. They just do it because I guess they see that that's the thing to do.
Yeah, I think that's what you just said there is the fitness thing to do is cut and bulk, because what we've always associated fitness with is bodybuilders and shows and looking our leanest, and that is what they do. They bulk, they cut. That's part of their cycle, that's part of their life. But people jumping on that bandwagon thinking that is fitness, which is understandable as to why they're thinking that, but it needs to be more publicized that isn't fitness, and that's not what we all need to be aiming for. And cutting and bulking is essentially calorie deficit and then training at maintenance or just above. But people take it to the extremes of not eating, doing loads of cardio, and then strength training and having pizzas every night. And it's like, well, you actually just gained more fat, so that when you cut, you're going to have to go into the bigger deficit for longer. And then you're going to lose more muscle mass because you're not eating enough, and you're not going to be able to train to the intensity. So, as you can probably tell from that bit of a rant there, I'm not really a fan of the whole cutting and bulking, but obviously I help people get in a calorie deficit and lose fat, and also gain strength at maintenance or just above when it's needed. So,
No, I think, I'm on the same sort of level. I've never actually bulked or cut in my life. Like when I started the gym, obviously I was a lot lighter. I'm about 6 stone heavier than I was when I first started the gym. So I've piled on quite a bit. I used to be like a twig. Like
it's funny that most people will be like, oh yeah, I'm 6 stone lighter since I started. And they are like, I'm heavier. That's cool, actually.
I was like 10 stone 2 pounds when I started the gym. I'm now like 16.4. I'm a bit heavier than I usually would be. I'd usually be more like 15.10, but COVID. So but I've never cut or bulk. Obviously I've put on muscle over the years, kind of intentionally, not like planned though. Obviously I just worked out more and ate more, and it happened.
I think that's what really pisses me off when people say, oh, I'm bulking. It's like, you know what? It's not harder to eat more, is it? That's the thing that we all struggle with. It's like, you don't even have to go to the effort of eating more. You just, you just do it so easily, like naturally as well. But when you are trying to gain strength, it's like, well, you don't need to go out your way to bulk. Just eat normal. Some days, like I just said, some days you'll overeat. That difference that it wouldn't have made, it's like, well, that day would have helped you, get a bit more energy for the next workout, recover, make some more muscle. So it'll naturally just even itself out. And
what sort of triggered it with me? Yeah, definitely. But, I started going to the gym, and obviously because I was working out more, I naturally got more hungry. And then
yeah.
obviously the more muscle you grow, the more you need to eat anyway, and it just sort of snowballs on and on and on.
Yeah.
And then obviously when I was rowing, I was eating even more. And then then stopping rowing, I was exercising less, but probably still, well, I wasn't eating anywhere near as much as that, but eating a considerable amount, but weight training instead of doing cardio 9 times a week.
Did you find it quite hard actually to get the calories in? Because you know when it's like you eat a meal and you finish it, you're like, God, I'm so hungry still. Was that happening all the time?
No.
Or
No, it was literally like an empty pit in my stomach. It was ridiculous. Like after training, I would comfortably eat 2 bananas, 1.5 liters of protein shake, and 3 or 4 bowls of pasta, like full bowls of pasta. And then I'd still have like a yogurt, maybe an apple and a biscuit, and like I'd still it wouldn't do anything.
Because it is mad, isn't it? That even if when you finish a meal, especially towards the end of the day, your body would be like, well, I've burnt 5,000 calories. You still only give me 3. And it's like, I'm still really hungry. And it will just keep going until it's satisfied. Like, obviously, there's different circumstances there. But there, where you actually have expended so much and your body's still like, feed me.
Well,
there'd be so hard.
There'd be times
That's where peanut butter does come in handy.
There'd be times at lunch though where I would have finished my lunch that I took to college, and then I'd be like, I'm starving, and I'd go get like half a pizza and chips from the canteen.
Yeah.
And then after college, I'd have like a butty, a banana, and like a breakfast bar sort of thing, and then go train. It was.
So do you know when that did happen, and you did find that you'd have a meal and you're still hungry after? Did you understand why, or did you just think, "Oh God, I'm so greedy"? I don't know why I keep putting on this manly voice.
I don't know. I think. Well, basically, when I started rowing, they basically just said eat. They didn't say what. They just said, "Well, get carbs in." I was like, "Okay." So I was smashing bowls of pasta all the time, and I wouldn't get to the point where I was like, "Oh, I can't move." But I'd make sure that I was eating enough, sort of thing. I mean, I didn't really know what was enough because I didn't count calories. I didn't know how much I was eating or anything. But I'd pretty much have the same day every day.
Yeah, that's what I mean by, because when I used to run all the time, like I said before, really active, but I had no idea about calories. And my mum and dad would cook the home meals, and I kind of lived off what they lived off. But they weren't doing half as much activity as me, and I kind of described my stomach as a black hole because I was never full. But looking back now, and knowing that actually that was probably my body saying a tuna salad is not enough to fuel, like, Georgina, I need more food. And I'd be like, oh God, I'm so greedy. Like, why can't I just be full? What is something wrong with me? And it's like, well, actually, no, that was just my body's natural response saying, you need to eat more and you need to have more calorie dense foods. Because yes, it was a big bowl of salad and there was a lot of tuna there, but it was not energy dense. Like peanut butter. So that's probably why I probably just lived off actual peanut butter, and that was the only thing getting me through. But
like I had an idea of calories. It's just I didn't have any interest in tracking them. So like I roughly knew what I was eating. Like at lunch, I'd easily, like those New York bagels you can get like in a tube packet. I'd eat a full one of them for lunch. Like I think there's like 5 in them. Like that wouldn't phase me. And I'd obviously I'd be able to see the calorie intake on it, and I'd know roughly like what I was eating. But it never bothered me.
5 bagels.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 bagels minimum. Like
I think easy to do because they're really nice and whatever. But when you actually think about having 5 bagels in one, like that's tough going.
It's about 1,000 calories, I think, just from the bagels.
Yeah, like in your body. I guess that's just like a pizza, then, isn't it? You can do that without thinking.
Yeah. And then obviously you've got whatever was on them, like ham, chicken, mayo.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. When I think about it now, trying to eat all that, it'd be probably a bit of a slog.
Yeah.
I could probably do it, but it'd be a slog.
Yeah.
But going back to the cutting and bulking, I think this is where Instagram's getting pretty dangerous, because obviously people are starting all these fitness accounts It's almost like a prerequisite when you start a gym now. You start a fitness Instagram to track your progress. But then they see all these people on, like they see all the competitors, like bodybuilder competitors, men and women, and they see like cut and bulk, and they're like, oh, this is what I must do. It's like, you know, because you're never
even
going to
people like The Rock.
Yeah.
Like he's always doing big nasty cheat days. There's my big lad's voice again. it's always saying about these cheat days, and it's kind of the amount of people that see that and think that that's the way to get fit and that's what you can do. Like, yeah, you can have foods like that and not worry about it being so detrimental on your health, but that's not the way to live a healthy lifestyle. Like binging on all of that to earn it and then being like, yeah, I'm gonna bulk. Like it's not healthy.
That's the worst thing, I think, with the whole cheat meal thing, is because you're automatically putting a group of foods in like a bad bracket. Like you're not cheating on your diet, you're just having a higher calorie day or you're having a higher calorie meal. It's not a cheat diet. You're just trying to glorify it. It's just a higher calorie meal.
Even then, how can we glorify it by calling it cheating?
Oh, well, exactly. Yeah. It's messed up. But the amount of people that I see as well, it's like someone will be on a bulk for like 6 weeks and the next minute they're on a cut, and I'm like, hold on, what? And then you're constantly swapping between the two. And then the whole side of mental health as well is that you obviously see all the photos in summer when you're usually in your better shape, and then you go to the winter and you're bulking and you're holding a bit more fat, your abs are less visible, this, that and the other, and then it starts playing on your mind like, oh, I'm massively overweight, this, that and the other. But then in the summer you're dead lean, but you feel like crap because you feel like you can't eat anything because you've got to maintain it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you're always going through that cycle of not being happy and fulfilled because of your body and physique and your diet through cutting and bulking. So actually, if you just go into it either like, right, I'm in a calorie deficit because I need to lose fat, or I'm just going to maintain, strength train, eat when I'm hungry, and just gain muscle if I don't, and whatever. Just happy that you're still training.
That's for me, there's three different options that you pick. You need to lose fat because you're overweight. You're in reasonable shape already, so you stay at maintenance and just work out and enjoy life. And if you have a good day, you have a good day. If you want to eat and go out, then you do that. Not to say that you can't whilst you're losing fat either, but like you've got more flexibility to do so. And then if you want to build muscle, then you're going to be in a surplus and you're going to build muscle. Like there's no need to sort of constantly switch between the two. Get to a point where you're happy enough to stay at maintenance. Because for me, I'd rather stay reasonably in shape throughout the year and never have to worry than have to constantly think, oh, I need to go on a diet now because it's coming up to summer. I'm going IB with the lads. I need to look in decent shape for Instagram photos and this, that, and the other. It's like, why? Just enjoy yourself and just be in slightly less good shape throughout the year.
Yeah, and I think there is definitely some positivity coming from that side of being like, you know what, it's okay to not look chiseled all the time. But God, I won't go into that because we'll be on talking for another 2 hours. But onto that body positivity, but not too far onto it. It's just being happy at whatever size you are, but knowing that there are different health implications of being different sizes, whether it's underweight, overweight, or even if you are an average weight but inactive, that's still unhealthy. So it doesn't matter what size you are, you can be healthy or unhealthy.
I think we should have like a whole podcast on that topic. And I think we'll revisit it. I think I'll get you back on and we'll have a good chat about it.
I keep wanting to talk about it on Instagram, but you know when it's like there's so many different audiences that I'd want to talk to through it. It would go on for an hour.
And it's like
no one's going to fit me. I know, I should.
Make it like a IGTV series.
So those type of things don't scare me, but it worries me when people only see one bit of it and not the rest of it. And that's why sometimes I get myself into a bit of a black hole and worry about what I'm posting, because I'm like, oh God, what if someone sees this but doesn't know who I am and know that I actually promote all this stuff as well? So
what you could do then is like on TikTok where they do like a like for part 2.
yeah,
So they have to go and
yeah,
watch like a part 2 to sort of get it. But I do get what you mean. Like if you were sort of not slighting one part of it, but I don't know, speaking about one part.
having a conversation
Yeah.
about it. Yeah. But then
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Who's going to listen to me ramble on about that? So
I'll listen. But yeah, if you want to talk about that outside of this, like I'm similar. Like there's ways of putting it out there without losing followers and getting loads of hate on Instagram. But
yeah.
sometimes it's just snowflakes on Instagram. I think people look to be offended these days. So,
I mean, it's not even about people being offended. It's just people getting the wrong end of the stick and taking the wrong information away. But people are always going to do that no matter where and how you put the information out. So
yeah, exactly.
I always tell myself that and say, don't overcomplicate it.
Yeah, I think like we worry a bit too much on what we post when it's going to be all right usually. And at the end of the day, there's always going to be someone that's offended with something that you've put up. So it's no
and
point
at the end of
worrying
the day, there's always going to be another article or magazine out there that's selling a load of BS.
Yeah.
And your post is always going to be better than that. So
yeah, we're better than the people that try and sell detox diets. So
yeah,
I don't think there's too much to worry about.
No.
So
I feel like we've been chatting for a very long time.
I was going to say that.
It's been going on for too long. Is everyone still listening?
Yeah, if you're still listening, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, congrats.
But yeah, I think we'll wrap this one up here. And like I said, I will get you back on again because it's been a very good chat. And I'm sure there's a lot more things that we can speak about.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. And thank you for reaching out to me and getting me on because, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I like just having a ramble about everything, as you can tell.
Well, it's better to have a ramble than you'd be sat there awkwardly in silence and giving short answers to questions.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for that. But yeah, if you're listening on YouTube, make sure you drop a like and a comment to let us know what you think of the podcast. And if you're new, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks for listening.